Hi, and thanks for joining us for our latest video. For those who have just found our channel, we're Andy and Helen, and inspired by our love of travel, we make videos to share our adventures. We're out exploring ancient marvels to vibrant chaos, crafting memories, and always embracing life to the fullest. So why not come along with us on our crazy adventures? And so our grand tour of Spain began. We set off from Portsmouth, England, with our camper van loaded and spirits high, ready for the adventure of a lifetime. There's something special about starting a journey by sea, watching the coastline disappear behind us as we sailed across the Bay of Biscay, the excitement bubbling with every wave. The ferry was a time to unwind, plan our route and soak in the feeling of leaving the familiar behind. As the salty air filled our lungs and the sun dipped below the horizon, we couldn't wait to wake up in Santander in Spain and hit the open road. Rolling off the ferry in Santander, we wasted no time heading south towards Pamplona. The drive took us through the lush Cantabrian countryside with winding roads leading into the heart of the Navarra. Pamplona, famous for running of the bulls, is so much more than just its festival. Strolling through historic Old Town, we admired the grand architecture, buzzing tapas bars, lively plazas. Standing in the Plaza del Castello, we imagined Hemingway himself sitting at the Cafe Iruna, soaking in the atmosphere just as we were. As the sun set, we embraced the Spanish tradition of hopping from bar to bar, sampling delicious local bites and Rioja wine. It was the perfect welcome to Spain. Leaving Pamplona behind, we drove deeper into Spain's rugged interior, where the rolling green hills gave way to dramatic red cliffs. The moment we spotted Albarracin perched on its rocky outcrop, we knew we were in for something special. With its winding cobbled streets, medieval walls and pink-hued buildings, Albarracin felt like a living postcard. We wandered through the narrow alleyways, climbed up the old Moorish fortress and took in breathtaking views over the valleys below. This was the kind of place where time seemed to slow down, where every corner held a story and where we truly felt like we had stepped back in time. From the medieval charm of Albarracin, we descended towards the Mediterranean coast, where the landscape transformed, lush mountains giving way to golden beaches and endless blue sea. And then suddenly, Benidorm towering skyline appeared before us. The city is full of energy, a mix of beachfront bliss and buzzing nightlife. We strolled along Levante Beach, feeling the soft sand beneath our feet and soaking up the warm Spanish sun. The evening brought paella by the sea, a scent of saffron and seafood filling the air as we watched the city light up. Benidorm was bold, lively and unapologetically fun, a stark contrast to our next destination, where history and culture awaited. As we left Benidorm behind, the Mediterranean guided us south along the stunning coastal drive, where rugged cliffs met the sea. Our next stop was Cartagena, a city with over 2,000 years of history awaiting to be uncovered. Walking into Cartagena's Roman theatre, we could almost hear the echoes of the past, the gladiators' performances and the roar of the ancient crowd. But Cartagena wasn't just about the ruins. The vibrant port, colourful plaza and bustling cafes gave the city a lively modern edge. As we wandered along the seafront, we couldn't help but marvel at how Cartagena beautifully blends in the ancient and the new. A short drive from Cartagena led us to Puerto de Madrón, a quiet coastal town where life slows down and the sea stretches endlessly before you. Here we swapped the city streets for secluded beaches and turquoise waters, finding the perfect spot to park up and just breathe in the Mediterranean air. The evening was spent watching local fishermen haul in their catch, followed by a simple but delicious seafood dinner by the harbour. Puerto de Madrón had no rush, no crowds, just sun, sea and the soothing sound of the waves. From Puerto de Madrón, the coastal roads led us to a place that instantly stole our hearts, Majaca. As we approached, the sight of the whitewashed houses cascading down the hillside against the deep blue sky was simply breathtaking. Wandering through Majaca's winding cobble streets, we were surrounded by balconies, hidden courtyards and stunning views over the Mediterranean. There was something magical about this town, the way it mixed Moorish history with relaxed Spanish charm, and how every corner seemed to be a postcard. We sat at a terrace cafe watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and pink, knowing that this is a place that we would never forget. Leaving Majaca behind, we made our way inland to Antequera, a town often called the heart of Andalusia. It was surrounded by rolling olive groves and ancient history. We explored the dolmens of Antikythera, the massive burial chambers older than the pyramids standing in silent mystery. For here we took a day trip to Malaga, a city where history meets the sea. We wandered through the Alcazaba, the Moorish fortress with breathtaking views, and explored Picasso's birthplace. Malaga had an infectious energy, a place where you could just easily get lost in history or sip a cold drink by the bustling harbour. The road to Wanda was one of the most spectacular drives of the trip, winding mountain roads, deep valleys and jaw-dropping views at every turn. And then there was Ronda's Puente Nuevo Bridge, an engineering marvel towering over a dramatic gorge. Standing on the edge, looking down at the river far below was simply breathtaking. We explored Spain's oldest bull ring, wandered the charming old town and soaked in the panoramic mountain views. As the sun dipped below the horizon, we found a quiet spot to reflect, because in Ronda every view felt like a masterpiece. Leaving Spain, well sort of, we crossed into Gibraltar, where the familiar sights of red telephone boxes and British pubs met the warm Mediterranean sun. Our first stop, the famous Rock of Gibraltar, we took the cable car to the top, where we were greeted by breathtaking views across the sea all the way to Africa, and of course the cheeky Barbary macaws. Watching them roam freely, stealing snacks from unsuspecting tourists, was pure entertainment. After a stroll through Gibraltar's historic tunnels, we grabbed a classic fish and chips before heading back into Spain. It was a surreal little stop, but a piece of Britain perched at the very edge of Europe. Back on Spanish soil, we followed the Costa Tropical, a stretch of coastline known for its lush greenery and year-round sunshine. Our next stop, Almuñécar, welcomed us with palm-lined beaches, fresh sea breezes and a laid-back Andalusian charm. We wandered through the old town where whitewashed streets led us to hidden Moorish castle with stunning views. Down by the beach we found the perfect chiringuito where we sipped on fresh sangria and listened to the waves roll in. Almuñécar had an easy, unhurried rhythm, the kind of place that makes you want to stay just a little bit longer. Driving further up the Mediterranean coast, we arrived in Aguilas, a town that felt untouched by mass tourism, where golden cliffs met crystal clear waters. We hiked up the Castello di San Juan, a fortress perched high above the town, offering breathtaking views of the coastline. Below the town was buzzing with locals enjoying tapas and lively plazas. It was here that we felt truly immersed in an authentic Spanish life. No rush, no crowds, just simple joys of great food, stunning views and the warmth of the Mediterranean sun. Cala de Finestrat, what a hidden gem. This tiny coastal town is tucked away from the usual tourist rush. Yet it offers everything you could want from a Mediterranean destination. The beach is just gorgeous, the waters are crystal clear and there's a relaxed, family-friendly atmosphere. We loved wandering around the town, checking out the local shops and enjoying the fresh seafood whilst watching the sunsets. It felt like the perfect spot to kick back, enjoy some downtime and recharge for the next leg of our journey. Driving back towards the sea, we arrived in Villajoyosa and instantly we were surrounded by colour. The town's brightly painted houses lined the waterfront, reflected in the gentle waves. It's something out of a storybook. Villajoyosa is famous for two things, its vibrant charm and its chocolate, and we couldn't resist stopping at a traditional chocolate factory where the sweet aroma of cocoa filled the air. Strolling along the palm-lined promenade, we soaked in the town's relaxed, cheerful vibe. Villajoyosa is the kind of place that puts a smile on your face, with its brilliant colours, sea-charred charm, and of course plenty of chocolate. After Villajoyosa, we made our way to Cal, and wow, what a sight! The massive rock towering over the town is impossible to miss. It's like nature's skyscraper. The views were absolutely stunning, overlooking the sea, the beaches and the surrounding coastline. Calp has beautiful beaches and a relaxed vibe that makes it a perfect place to unwind after a good hike. We strolled through the old town, savouring the mix of history, great food and unbeatable scenery. And you really must make Calp one of those places to visit. Heading north along the Costa Azar, the sight of Pensacola emerging from the horizon was something straight out of a movie. A medieval fortress perched on a rocky peninsula surrounded by the Mediterranean. This Game of Thrones filming location had an undeniable fairy tale feel. We wandered through the narrow cobbled streets lined with whitewashed houses, making our way up to the stunning 13th century castle. From the top, the views over the sea were breathtaking. As the sun set, we strolled along the golden beaches below, watching the lights of the old town twinkle above. Pensacola was pure magic, history, beauty, and the sea all in one place. Leaving the Mediterranean behind, we headed inland towards Teruel, a city that often goes unnoticed but holds some of Spain's most unique architecture and history. As we entered the city, we were greeted by stunning towers, intricate designs blending Moorish and Gothic styles, a reminder of Spain's fascinating past. The Plaza del Torrico, with its charming mix of history and modern life, was the perfect spot to soak in the atmosphere. But it was the lovers of Teruel, Spain's own Romeo and Juliet legend, that gave the city an air of romance. Teruel was an unexpected delight, full of history, beauty, and a hidden charm. From Teruel, we journeyed north to Logroño, the beating heart of Spain's famous Rioja region. The drive took us through rolling vineyards, golden fields stretching to the horizon, promising some of the best wines in the world. Logroño welcomed us with lively pintos bars, warm hospitality, and of course incredible wine. We spent the evening on the Calle de Orel, hopping from one of the traditional bars to the next, indulging in perfectly aged Rioja, delicious tapas, and the friendly buzz of locals and travellers alike. It was a night to savour. Logroño is a city that knows how to enjoy life, one sip at a time. As we neared the final stretch of our adventure, we made a stop at Suessa and Somo, two small coastal villages offering one last taste of Spain's tranquility. Somo's wide sandy beaches stretched endlessly, waves rolling in from the Bay of Biscay. It was a place for long walks, deep breaths, and reflecting the incredible journey that lay behind us. Over in Suessa, we found a quiet countryside, charming stone houses, and a peaceful escape from the bustle of the cities we'd explored. This was the calm before the journey home, a moment to pause and take it all in, because soon we'd be back on the ferry watching Spain fade into the distance. As our adventure neared its end, we made our final stop in Cabanilla, a small village nestled in the Cantabrian countryside. After so many cities, coastlines and historic landmarks, this was the perfect place to slow down and reflect. Surrounded by lush green hills and rolling meadows, we wandered through charming stone houses and quiet country lanes, soaking in the fresh mountain air. It was a world away from the bustling streets of southern Spain, a place where time seemed to move just a little slower. That evening we enjoyed a simple but delicious local meal. We thought back on all the places we'd visited. Cabanilla was the perfect farewell, a quiet and beautiful moment before our journey home. Next morning, we made our way back to Santander, where our Spanish adventure had begun. As we boarded the ferry back to England, we stood on deck, taking one last look at the Spanish coastline, disappearing into the horizon. This journey had been so much more than a road trip. It was a chance to immerse ourselves into Spain's history, culture, and breathtaking landscapes. From the lively streets of Pamplona to the magic of Majorca, the coastal beauty of Pensacola, and the vineyards of La Rioja, every step had made its mark.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. It helps our channel grow.